Hello, I'm Jesse Rosen, President of the League of American Orchestras. As many of you know, in the first week of June, the League held its national conference. And one of our big themes was everyone taking responsibility for advancing and moving their orchestras forward. During that same week, Michael Kaiser, president of the Kennedy Center, had an article in the Huffington Post that caught my attention. Its title was, "Don't Blame the Unions." Now, I subscribe to this idea wholeheartedly. The only problem with Michael's piece was he went on to blame managers and fundraisers and marketing directors. And I find this casting blame at somebody else. And frankly, there is no room to cast blame at anyone. If there's anything we all must do, it's to come together to address the challenges that our entire sector is facing. And it just so happens in the last couple of days we've had a stunning example of collaborative, cooperative work between musicians, board, and management in the settlement of the Pittsburgh Symphony contract. And I had a fascinating pair of conversations earlier today with both the president of the orchestra as well as the head of the orchestra committee, because I was curious to understand how did this happen. They settled, I think, 3 or 4 months early. This was a concessionary contract. Usually concessionary contracts take longer because there's an awful lot at stake. But through both of my conversations, the same themes were repeated. Number 1, trust. Number 2, relationship. Number 3, long-term relationship over time. Number 4, transparency. There were 2 musician members on the executive committee of the board, 3 musicians on the full board. The musicians were fully aware of the symphony's financial condition, and the musicians, along with management and board, all shared 3 commitments. 1, to the artistic legacy of the Pittsburgh Symphony. 2, to its service to the Pittsburgh community. And 3, to the financial health of the organization. So everyone shared in those commitments. Then you add to that in the bargaining process a transparency, a credibility between the parties, and finally an admiration among the parties and a mutual self-respect for what they did. And they succeeded in getting this contract settled. And in talking to Joe Rounds, the head of the orchestra committee, he said, you know, we gave a lot in this contract, but you know, it's just the tip of the iceberg, because the board is clearly in this capital campaign they're working on the revenue side. So we are doing our part on the cost side. We respect the hard work that the board and management are doing on the contribution side, and we understand that our financial circumstances are not something unique. This is part of a national, even an international phenomenon. We've seen the numbers. We know how we fit into this larger landscape. And so it was heartening to me to hear, particularly from both the president of the orchestra and the head of their orchestra committee, about a mutual respect, trust, transparency, and a shared commitment to solving their problems together. This is a tremendous model. We should celebrate our colleagues in Pittsburgh, and to the extent possible, we should also emulate them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.